with Limerick leader GA correspondent Jerome O'Connell. Jerome, I suppose mission accomplished from a Limerick point of view, holders through to another Munster final.
Yeah, it's great to be back in the Munster final and great to be back in the Munster final after a pretty stern test from Cork across the 70 odd minutes. Took a while for Limerick to get going. Cork asked a lot of questions in that opening half. Clearly does two goals in injury time at the into the first half. Coming 10 minutes after that Nicky Quaid penalty save, there were three massive moments in the tie, and to see out an 8-point win in the end, a satisfactory day at the office with still plenty of room for improvement.
Yeah, and Limerick managed to keep Cork, I suppose, at arm's length through the second half, managed to maintain that 5 or 6 point advantage. Cork did threaten for a while, I suppose, but once Limerick did concede a second goal, Cork never really looked like managing to overhaul the deficit with points. No,
I think Limerick battened down the hatches pretty well in the third and fourth quarters, particularly that third quarter where maybe Cork would have looked to have come out at half time and try and eat into that lead, and Limerick got to that second half water break still 6 points ahead and tagged on another 2 to make it an 8-point win in the final quarter. And as you said, Cork just couldn't get that run of scores. I thought particularly the Limerick half-back line in those couple of minutes really stepped forward with Burns, Hannon and Kyle Hayes winning an amount of ball. And I think back to a flick that Sean Finn had as well to deny Patrick Horgan when he was teeing up a chance for goals. So very satisfactory from that point of view. Then you will look and see that Limerick hit 20 wides, so clearly room for improvement there, but you'll take that in your first outing in the championship.
Could the 20 wides, maybe some of them at least, be put down to the fact that I suppose these teams haven't had the competitive matches for a good number of weeks, and the intensity today was very far removed from what it was when Limerick played Cork in the Gaelic grounds just 3-4 short weeks ago. Yeah,
and I think even the return of the 2,400 supporters here today added to that intensity as well, and we missed all that last season. I think you kind of felt it from the players as well, that they knew that raw intensity of championship was back, and maybe a couple of the shots they did fire them off, when on another day they may have recycled or opted to spray the ball to a colleague. Some of the shots were probably from distance or from the sidelines, and that's not really something that we see from Limerick a lot. Their shot selection is usually pretty decent, so that's something no doubt that Paul Kinnerk will have on the training field for the next 2 weeks.
We spoke pre-match about the importance of not having to go through the back door, given the quality of the teams that are there. We mentioned Waterford, Galway, Wexford losing out to Kilkenny, and then the losers of the Tipperary-Clare match tomorrow. So as champions, Limerick really wanted to have taken the direct route into the All-Ireland series.
Yeah, it's a Munster final, 2 weeks, Sunday, July 18th against Clare or Tipperary. It'll be a neutral ground. Win, you're in an All-Ireland semi-final, lose, you're in an All-Ireland quarter-final. So, you're edging that bit closer to the ultimate goal all the time. You've taken the tricky qualifier route out of it now. You're back in a Munster final, and we're dominant for recent years, but we're nowhere in a position where we'll take Munster finals for granted. In Limerick, it's the 1930s, as we alluded to earlier, since Limerick have won 3 in a row. So it's a huge thing, I think, for Limerick to be in that Munster final. And you want to go the direct route, you want to keep winning, and I think Limerick are in a nice position.
I think John Kiley's in a nice position now. Maybe some players probably didn't play up to the usual high standards. He rang the changes in the second half, emptied the bench, gave guys an opportunity. You'd imagine training, the week ahead, particularly guys will feel there's a genuine opportunity here to get game time in the Munster final.
Yeah, clearly, Limerick always use the bench. They've got a strong bench, but when you see the likes of Gerard Hegarty, Tom Morrissey, Barry Nash, making way, and you can bring in Conor Boylan, David Reedy, Graham Mulcahy, Pat Ryan, they all contributed. I think, overall, I think management will be quite happy in that regard. And they've got valuable game time into the legs of guys who Limerick didn't use all their star names throughout the league. Today was a good hard 70 minutes, 60 minutes for most guys, and that's what will really stand to them ahead of a Munster final.
If you remember back to the October bank holiday weekend last year, Limerick played Clare here, first round of the Munster Championship, no crowd. Limerick won easily, but the match in terms of atmosphere was something like a challenge game. Tonight supporters returned. There was a bite particularly in the opening 20-25 minutes there was a real bite and physicality, intensity. It felt like a real championship match with the crowd back.
Yeah, and at the end there, as Limerick just did a small bit of a warm down as well, the crowd saluted them here in the old stand, and just heartwarming really to see it. And I'm sure all the Limerick supporters that were here just be absolutely thrilled to get the chance to come to be one of the 2,400 that were here for what was a test pilot match for fans returning. And please God, Munster final time, maybe that attendance will go up another couple of thousand, and people can get back, because as you said, it adds so much to it. And particularly, as you said, that opening half when Cork brought real hunger to the game, and they got the goal and went ahead for a while, and you really felt like this is Munster Championship hurling back again. And that's what ultimately players, management, supporters, that's what we all want to see.